sometimes make these other Tier 1 teams not look so Tier 1. And going into this game, we saw a similar game earlier with Slark where he had a lot of these beefy targets to be wailing on the whole time, but he just didn't have enough time to build up those stacks by the time his team was dead, or by the time basically all of his teammates' spells are on cooldown, and he just is isolated. And Bristleback has that halberd build where it doesn't really matter that the Slark hits you, because you have the evasion,
yep,
you have the tankiness, and then as long as he's not ulted or BKB'd, you just halberd him. And it buys you that extra bit of time that makes it really difficult for Slark to lock on that target like he wants to.
Natural halberd buyers are really good against Slark, right? A disable that he can't dispel.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonder if they'll ever revert that.
I hope not.
Yeah. Kind of my boy Slark has been suffering from it, but I think Bristleback's the highlight of this league for me. I had been feeling like he was pretty decent in pubs, and I think running a mid adds a whole nother dimension to the hero, because he's typically known as an offlaner, occasionally being played as a carry prior to this event from teams like Liquid, with the Coddle specifically. And he's being such a versatile hero in any meta on anybody is generally very easy to draft around, especially when you have like Pango Morph. Technically, they could have done like 5 or 6 different lane orientations this game. I don't know how I keep catching that wire on my damn headset.
Don't worry, all that scuffing that you heard on the mic.
That was the wire on my headset.
We're
Thought I got rid of that.
It's all good.
Yeah. That was Cap's fault. But when it's like when you're going for this 10th pick on Team Liquid, you go for Slark because it's good against Morph and Bristle in game in terms of hitting them. But
yeah,
you don't even know what your lane matchup is.
Right.
And then you don't even know what's mid. You don't know if the Morphling's mid. You don't know what type of pace you're going to get in the game, because if they put Morphling mid, it's completely different pace than the Bristleback. And it's just really hard to paint a picture for yourself when you're picking that last hero as the carry role of, okay, this is the pace I need to set, this is what items I'm going to be building, just by looking at the opponent's draft. And that makes it really hard for that 10th pick.
I think the example of like going on a Bristol and him like almost killing you with Quills when he's off lane is a good example of his strength in mid, right? If he's ahead of you, he's a very hard hero to fight into. And so if you can fit him into a different position, if he can scale well enough to put him into the mid lane, then it seems a very suitable option for him.
Oddly enough, they are putting Matamba Man on Morphling, and he's mid. So I don't fully understand why they chose to go with that lane orientation, with that player orientation, but needless to say, looking forward to seeing Matamba Man on Morphling. Obviously not the Nisha Morphling, but he is quite a connoisseur of the hero as well.
Yeah, it's funny. Matamba Man's classically, his heroes on the old Liquid was the heroes that it was joked about, the green heroes. It was all the Vipers and Necrophoses and all those kind of heroes that were space creating and just icky to play against. And I would argue Bristleback fits into that mold very nicely. Hell, he's even got a green ability in Viscous Nasal Goo.
That is quite icky when it's spraying on you.
But he's exactly that kind of frontliner and space creator that Matamba Man traditionally played. But instead, he's going to be playing more of that hard carry in the Morphling and playing that mid lane.
Maybe they think the Bristleback's going to have a better early start. And from what I've seen, Nisha's the one they play around in the mid game, while Matamba Man is usually recovering with a little bit of a rougher lane matchup, as you see him already dipping down to below 100 health in the mid lane. Probably a very favored lane for Death Prophet, and what maybe bodes well for Liquid in the mid game. It might be a nice source of momentum for them.
Yeah, this is something that Matamba Man has been kind of looking to prove for himself this season, right? That while he was traditionally put on more of a 2 role, that he can be one of the best carries in the world. And we'll see how he's able to assert that statement here on the Morphling.
I love the Creed Dragon that's gone on top, as you see a dive, a little bit of aggression, bottom lane from the Coddle Bristleback. But the Earth Spirit, the Absolor, dragged the creeps to behind his tier 1. So then Mickey dragged him behind his tier 1. And now we've got 2 separate 1v1s.
And these are the kind of shenanigans you kind of need to do against Slark early, right? Especially
with 2
with
melee heroes.
A kill support that you like to call it in Grimstroke.
Absolutely. And last series we saw a Pangolier Snapfire versus Slark, which is quite powerful for nuking him down and dissuading him. As we see a First Blood bottom, I guess he overextended, not somewhere where we would have expected
Yeah, they got all those stacks. He had 13 retaliate stacks, so they just got a telekinesis into Stomp and just whacked him.
Guess they didn't have blinding light on Coddle because I just can't envision how they're supposed to kill the Bristleback unless he overextends there.
Yeah.
Big kill, though. As we were saying, it's when you have 2 melee heroes, you just don't want to go on Slark early. So giving Pangolier those early levels, making it so maybe the Earth Spear can just rotate out at an earlier time and leave Zai to his devices, potentially help out this mid lane, because right now, despite the fact that Matamba Man looked like he was struggling earlier, he's up 12-1 to 8-3 in CS. It's going to be about even after DP gets these last hits, though.
Yeah, I think Quaifa has been lured into trying to harass
too much.
Yeah, he sees him a little bit low. The Stomp goes out underneath the tower, and Taiga does get dangerously low, and Boxy has a lot of stacks on him as well, so they won't really be able to pursue. I was also watching that middle lane, and it's kind of gross how Adaptive Strike is so efficient for CSing. Just 80 mana to secure like a range creep. It's not too bad on a hero that has almost 400.
Almost goes down. Surprisingly, doesn't level away from him. We've seen that a bit from other Morphlings where they go either 404 or they go this 044 build. As you said, it's a very efficient ability to secure CS, but he can't use Waveform to get away from the or from the Soul Siphon.
Right.
So a little bit of give and take there.
No, sorry, I was talking to Adaptive Strike.
Yeah, I'm saying that because he has Adaptive Strike,
okay.
it gives him the CS securing, but he then does not have the option to also Waveform away from that Soul Siphon, which I think is making it so Death Prophet trades better, but he probably has an extra 3 or 4 CS because he leveled that Adaptive Strike. It's a tough decision to make. I've seen a lot of 404 Morphlings this patch.
And it is costing him when it comes to the net worth anyway. He's had to pull in a bit more regen. Matamba Man is going to fight it out once again, but the top lane, Yapzorn gets the roll in on Insania, is scared away by that Inkswell. Back over to mid lane where Matamba Man has been harassed quite a bit. That morph strength allows him to always be able to keep alive with just 100 or 200 HP.
Yeah, Koifa is relentless. Just keeps running at him every single time he can. And that region really adds up, because even though they're similar on CS, Death Prophet has a 300 net worth lead.
Retaliate stakes are popped here. Boxy's trying to land hits. Blinding Light creating some issues, and Nisha is able to get far enough away. He's good. And it's actually going to healing salve up. Thought about looping around and seeing if he'd catch Taiga, but Taiga played the right-hand side, played the distance away from that Bristleback, allowing the Quill stacks to fade.
I think a lot of the momentum for Secret was this Bristleback, expected to be coming out of the laning stage. So because the other 2 lanes are losing, and this Bristleback did die once, this actually is looking really good for Liquid so far.
Oh, Taiga. He tries to go for an early telekinesis because he knows that Blinding Light will always secure the bounty rune. Unfortunately, didn't quite time it perfectly, and as a result, Secret will manage to get 3 and make it a 4th, actually, as Puppey chases another one down. I think it was actually a denied bounty rune from Taiga. But another kill onto Zai, leading Liquid up 2-0.
Boxy just going to go back to base. Looks like he is. I was wondering if he's going to pop the 10 stick charges and then ferry himself some regen, but instead he elects to just take the walk of shame. Only going to miss out on a few creeps, while Rubik is going to get the experience and 1 CS with the Fade Bolt, so really not missing much. I like this approach. You want to be topped off against the Bristleback as well as the Coddle, because their relentless aggression that you're seeing, once again, Blinding Light pushing him back. He's just going to instantly TP.
Does mean he will not have a ton of regen left for this lane, but at least he can still stick around. Mid lane, Yapzor holding onto a regen rune, but it's going to be forced to pick it up here as Insania shows himself. You'd think he would have loved to give that to Matamba Man, who was both low on health and mana.
Yeah, the Slark we saw earlier had a Coddle as a lane partner. I don't think Coddle really enables Slark to win his lane. While, on the other hand, Grimstroke, when he pounces you on Slark, that's scary.
Yeah. You're going to get a full Inkswell. Taiga, the bottom lane, has the telekinesis.
Top as well.
Is actually going to use it to toss on a Puppey. They thought about going for the kill there. Looks like a slight miscommunication. Meanwhile, that top lane, back to bottom, Yapzor is going to be able to get the roll in. Taiga shows himself, gets 1 kill, and probably a second, as now they're brave enough to be able to dive into the tower.
Double quills, that's so much damage.
Double quills, and they even up the kill score. 2-2 now.
Yeah, Zai barely lived top, and even though he's just sitting in the trees here, unlike Boxy, he is alive and he is getting experience, and a few CS as well. So much better situation there for
and he does
the
need to
secret
catch
side.
up, as he's slightly behind the Centaur in net worth. Same goes for the Morphling compared to the Death Prophet mid, and quite a decent difference between the Bristleback and the Slark. So that's where, even though they just got those 2 kills, the net worth is still slightly favoring Liquid. All the lanes are just being won by the slightest of margins.
Yeah, I'm now curious to see how the Bristleback-Slark matchup pans out this patch after Slark has a much better start. Earlier, the Slark was hindered while the Bristleback was mid and had a really good start, and it did not look all that great for Slark. So we'll definitely get a different interpretation of this matchup this game.
This Quill's so annoying, but fortunately a Centaur. Very tanky. Who do you think is going to be making the first move here? Because Liquid can't be too unhappy with these lanes, especially if they can get a kill here in the top lane. Zion some trouble, has the silence on him, and as he gets it off of him, the pounce fades, but the Inkswell explodes.
Yeah, I think it's the Death Prophet that is going to be a part of the rotation. Whether or not he goes to the Slark, potentially, because the Pengler is so far behind, or they come to him like you're seeing here. I don't mind them rotating here because their lane bottom just... Who wants to lane against Coddle Bristleback once Bristleback hits 6? He starts right-clicking for so much damage. You want to be able to open up the space on the map somewhere else because this Death Prophet is in absolute control of her lane, and if she doesn't come bottom or you don't take the mid tower, then this Bristleback's just basically creating a lane that nobody on your team can farm.
The problem I foresee is that Liquid don't have any one lane that seems particularly susceptible to being pushed on. Right? Like the Bristleback standing in front, like, okay, that's going to be annoying. We have to all in, and the team fight could still go wrong. You got this elusive Morphling who's just hard to be able to burst down in general without some, real Blink Dagger stuff. Insania shows himself. Actually managed to get the silence on him, a Tubbin Man, and he didn't morph in his strength. He will die.
That's a huge kill, and that's probably going to be mid-tower because they don't have Pango 6 yet. Yapsor's only level 4. Koifa's quite the strong man right now.
That was a major mistake from Matama Man, and one that Liquid instantly try and capitalize on as Koifa, he sees an opportunity to get some damage on that mid tower.
I like how he's spirit siphoning the creep just to sustain while he's hitting the tower.
Yeah, and tanks a lot of tower hits, so his creeps stay alive. Additional, ooh, nice little juke there from Taiga. Yapsor is going to miss his rolling boulder in. They won't manage to take that tower, but they did force Zai to rotate over, as well as the 2 supports had to hang around. So.
Yeah, Zai being level 6 means that he was willing to participate in that fight now. I almost wonder if Liquid could have tried to make that move earlier when he was only level 5.
Oh,
Boxy pays the price for forcing 3 heroes here. Does get a CS with his return there.
Yeah, not worth it, though, because he doesn't get the outpost in control. Secret were able to make that rotation, and now Insania does manage to pick up that bounty rune, and thanks to the Inkswell, is going to be able to scale some heroes back, but he has no TP, and that makes it an easy chase for Nisha if he wants to go for it, but a little bit scared, not sure about who's going to be around, especially Koifa with the haste rune. Turns, get some damage on a Matama Man, probably hoping he could force him into waveform, which he still does not have.
Oh, the Fated Brooch on Slark to give it to the DP. That's such a good item on her. Going for the Yules. She's super farmed. So is the Slark. Top 2 of the net worth charts. And this Diffusal Blade for Slark's going to be go time, I think. He has, what is that? About 1,500 gold left to get.
Okay.
Bottom lane.
Oh, Insania is a big push that he was trying to defend against. He tries to go for the Inkswell stun onto Nisha. He knows that his life has been sacrificed here. Is anybody else going to show up, though? Because this is a decent push. This tower will probably fall unless Liquid does something about it. Their mid lane's being pushed as well. I see a Death Prophet and a Slark both farming up the jungle at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think... This is so greedy from Liquid.
Yeah.
I guess with Death Prophet ult on cooldown and Slark doesn't want to participate yet, he might have to try to participate before that Diffusal. Otherwise, they're going to give up a lot of control on the map. As you see the Tier 1 tower going down bottom, and then them just running to the mid lane and taking down Boxy, who's only level 5.
They managed to get the Soulbind double telekinesis, toss up in the air. The Will-O-Wisp does manage to go down, though. There's a roll-in from Zai. That's going to be extremely disruptive as he just bowls right through both supports as well as Mickey. Mickey, who does manage to get off his Shadow Dance, is now completely out of mana. Is going to be chased down underneath his tower, quickly taken out by Matama Man. A double kill. One slight error from Liquid. All 3 of their cores just... For whatever reason, maybe they got a little bit low. I saw the DP was low, but they're all farming neutrals. Then Boxy gets caught, and next thing you know, that's 2 towers down and a team fight 1 for Secret.
Yeah, what I see the difference between teams like Liquid and Secret is early on when Pango was level 5 and Secret's fight condition was his level 6, they didn't look to make a move or at least force one with the DP, and I think they could have even taken the Pangoliers tower or just really forced mid tower, even if Morphling's alive. They had very little D push, and they just didn't hit that window. On the other hand, you have DP ult on cooldown, Centaur's level 5, and Slark doesn't want to fight yet because he doesn't have Diffusal, and they just run at him. Right? Like, you can tell they recognize the enemy team has absolutely no desire to fight right now, and that's what Dota's all about, hitting these power spikes, looking to smoke now that they have their power spike on the side of Liquid, but now that you've given up that much map control, I guess you could just take this mid tower, but it's super low, and Secret already did the ample amount of stalling.
Yeah.
You expect to lose your mid tower to Death Prophet at some point. It's just because they rotated so many heroes earlier, now this 4-man rotation is geared towards this mid tower, which is already super low, rather than something else maybe more fruitful.
Yeah, it feels like this is not the most productive movement from Liquid.
They have to do it though, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And Team Secret, they'll get a simple trade out top lane. Matumba Man is free to take that. They play a little bit spread. Nisha's getting some extra farming time. Puppey takes the outpost as well.
Yeah, just notice how Liquid wants to fight right now, and Secret's somehow still getting something on the map and avoiding them, which it just shows like this tier 1 level of movement on the map that I always love to watch when I watch these.
They managed to get him. Nisha
is that
is now
Arteezy?
stuck up on the high ground, and he does not have a TP scroll. They have no way to be able to get him out unless Yapzor can kick him down. He gets close enough, and sure enough, does manage to get that distance.
So that's why Crit practices are Spirit.
He needs to have a plan B for Artur at any point. 8-4, Team Secret. Even though we did talk about how they managed to make this successful move and such, they're only up by 1K net worth. I'm surprised it's not more. Puppey in the mid lane trying to push that out while his team goes for Roshan. Liquid did not manage to nab him like they were hoping to.
Yeah, they have the Vlads, they have the Disarm, the Sticky Nasal Goo from the Bristleback, so a lot of minus armor if Zai can get that proc, but he was already pretty low.
Yeah, they're going to find out now. The Stroke of Fate just going into the Roshan pit, or... Well, he didn't actually hit Roshan, and he didn't see anything, I think.
I'm not 100% sure. They either didn't see it, or they just didn't feel confident to fight into the Willow. There's no Will-O-Wisp either. Wow.
So for you, if you knew, you would fight if you're like...
Yeah, you have to fight. It's not that you would or not. I don't think you can have Death Prophet hold off cooldown, and they don't have Will-O-Wisp, and you just don't fight. I don't think that's... They're just getting away with too much, I think, on Secret right now.
Yeah. I think the Stroke of Fate, it only really shows vision of where it hits, and I don't think it hit Roshan. So
I believe it.
I think they maybe just didn't know. Silence goes out, but Matumba Man easily takes that kill, and he's free to play very aggressively with that Aegis that he has. And Liquid, they are in desperate need of a really big fight at some point.
Yeah, I just love Secret's map movements and map positioning. Right now, the Morphling's playing the safest part of the map top when you're Radiant. And he's actually a huge threat when he has Earth Spirit around. And since they get the kill, he's going to let Earth Spirit soak some levels from the lane, and he's going to finish off the jungle. Meanwhile, Bristleback's playing around the Ancient stack that they have bottom, which is beautiful for him. Look at all those items.
All right, surely this is going to make the net worth go up higher, because they just took Roshan, and they were still only up by 1K.
I think it's deceiving in this game because Secret's draft is really greedy. To be honest with you, all 3 of their cores rely on ample amounts of farm, and you're seeing Pangoliers kind of just turn into a third support. So with this Aegis, I have to imagine they're going to be able to extend this lead even further. But what's Boxy's status here? Is he working on a Blink Dagger?
Almost has the Blink.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah, he's got it flying out to him right now.
Wait, does he?
He had it queued up earlier, and
he
was at 2,000
he has
gold, so.
he has 5,000 net worth. He's definitely got it somewhere.
Top lane. Oh, this is maybe a big pickup. Never mind. Matumba Man does manage to get off the Strength Morph. He's out of mana, and actually the Soulbind latches onto Yapzor. Can they take advantage of that, though? They're going to turn onto Yapzor, an easier kill by far, but the Will-O-Wisp, and now the rest of the Secret is here, especially with Zai rolling into the backline just like he did before. He's going to find Taiga. He's going to make sure to take him out with the Swashbuckle, while the rest of the team, well, the Exorcism going out. They've already managed to take out the Caudal as well as the Pango, and now the second life onto the Morphling. If they can manage to get some sort of silence, a stun, anything to stop this TP away, but he's out. A good bail from Secret. If they can get everybody out of here, it would be excellent, but looks like Zai still going to be chased down. No Swashbuckle up. Now he's been silenced. So that will be, presumably, no, another jump away. Boxy has his Blink Dagger up in a second, though. Spots him, hits the stop, and that'll be a 3rd kill. So sure enough, Liquid does manage to find that big team fight, and the Aegis really wasn't that useful for Secret.
Wow. That's more like it coming out from Liquid. Now that they have this Diffusal Slurk, he's more and ready to go. Matuma Man has Aegis, so he feels very confident on the top half of the map, but his team, you notice how the entire time he's getting hit here, Slark's building up that Agi. Now his team's here. And by this point, you've just lost too much on the Morphling. He's not fighting because he had to strength morph, so he doesn't do any damage. Now Bristleback comes in. That extra bit of damage on Slark really does make a difference there. Morphling forced to retreat. Liquid's on the prowl.
I mean, that Inkswell stunned him right as he turned and faced everybody.
Yeah.
It was like the worst case scenario for him. He just took all the damage straight to the face. I don't think he even got off his Essence Ring, which pretty big neutral item pickup for a Bristle.
Yeah, going on for that Halberd. See how that window of timing for the Slark is going to just basically diminish at this point because this Halberd is just so potent. What's Slark working on? Is he going for a BKB? He is going for the Echo Saber, a bit greedier of a build, I would say. It helps him scale better, but there's a lot of just random crap thrown on the ground by Secret, even during his ultimate. The Earth Spirit stuff hits you, the Pangolier stuff hits you, the Coddle stuff hits you. So even if you're in your ultimate, your damage output's going to be severely limited, and he pretty much serves as a threat to enable his Death Prophet to deal out the actual damage, at this stage in the game at least.
It feels like the way Liquid's playing that they're at least somewhat confident of this game going a little bit later. Do you feel the same kind of confidence?
I think it's just a part of their draft. I think because Centaur had a rough start and because you have Slark, you don't really have another option.
Okay.
So I don't think it's necessarily that they're confident to go late, but they are just trying to fight around the windows that they do have. See, they have Death Prophet ultimate again. They're ready to go.
Echo Saber.
Using that night vision from Slark to scout out.
Goes into a high ground, the smoke breaks. He doesn't manage to land the pounce, but he does get close enough for the inhibit on a Puppy, but Blinding Light puts him back, and now Zai's going to be able to chase away the rest of Liquid. A Stampede, a Shadow Dance, and all of them from Liquid will disengage. He did place a ward on the high ground, though. They're going to make sure to protect it. His Puppy tries to deny it. Now a 2-man silence with the Soulbind on top. Here comes Yapster. He's going to try and help out. Matuma Man actually turning into a Death Prophet and silencing Mickey. This is a huge silence if they can actually bring him down. He gets the pounce up in a second, but he dies before it takes him very far. Taiga, now the next to be chased down, perhaps, but Team Secret, a little bit too far away. They're still happy enough, though. They killed the carry, the big core of Team Liquid.
You're not playing against a long-duration silence. Your Spirits isn't that long at this stage in the game, and you are just not expecting to get 6 seconds silenced on Slark there.
Yeah.
As Matuma Man did turn into the Death Prophet.
That was a big brain move there from Matuma Man, but he goes up into the high ground and does get silenced onto him while he's still in agility form. Pretty low, but the rest of the team wasn't able to capitalize, and now Taiga's in the wrong space here. While the right-hand side, they're going to chase down Boxy pretty easily. Both of them should fall. It's pretty much at Secret's leisure. And that little net worth lead begins to chug upwards once again. Now 3K, 13-8 at 20 minutes.
I don't really know what you do at this point as Liquid. You've lost so much map control. You're just getting ran at. Death Prophet ult is still off cooldown.
Okay, Yule Scepter into the Inkswell. They're really got a gun for Nisha here.
Good Halberd.
He does have 20 stick charges. You got to pop him now as well.
And the Essence Ring.
Koifa, he's getting a little bit low, but Matuma Man has already thrown out his shotgun, and that was not enough to kill him. The roll forward, Zai is actually going to be able to intercept. Matuma Man gets back safely while Taiga died to some of the supports of Secret. Zai gets in and gets out just as easily. The Stampede goes out. They're looking for something here. They're going to go for the Morphling. There's no Rolling Thunder. They manage to get a Soulbind silence onto 2. Yapster is controlled up, and Cedia tries for one more nuke. But maybe with the silence coming out from Koifa, he's going to be able to get the Spirit Sight from Matuma Man. He's a little bit low, but he's got to wait for him. He should be good. It's going to be Nisha as well as Puppy, or in more trouble is Mickey. Hunts down the captain of Team Secret and looks for more. A pounce is up, and a Diffusal is up in 4 seconds, but I don't think they can feel confident about pushing forward, especially now a regen on Matuma Man.
You just can't hit anybody on Slark. He's getting disarmed. He's getting blinding lighted. They're kiting him with their mobility spells. All your damage is this Death Prophet, and they're just kiting you on the side of Secret. a lineup that doesn't seem like it should easily get kited. The Centaur, the Death Prophet, the Slark.
Yep.
But Secret doing a really good job of making sure they don't overcommit for these fights.
I mean, let's just list them out here. Blinding Light, Heaven's Halberd, Lucky Shot, Rolling Thunder, Blinding...
even Earth Spirit
Light, right?
stuff hits you when you're in your ult.
He can kick you away and stuff.
These little things add up. I think Slark probably has like, what, 3 or 4 Essence Shifts? They're all gone, I guess, now, but I think he only hit 3 or 4 times that entire fight. And that's the problem I have with playing heroes like Slark against the Coddle. No natural way of locking onto your target.
And maybe that's where some of the problem comes from his build with the Echo Saber over the BKB. He feels really, really incapable of doing a whole lot.
I don't mind the Shadow Blade since he went for the Echo Saber. I think the best way for him, rather than going for a BKB at this point, to get the hits off is to catch somebody on Secret off guard, utilizing that vision. And when we roll to the 25-minute mark, if he hits that Shadow Blade right around then, it will be nighttime. He has the full 1800 vision. That'll give them the rare advantage of being able to have the vision of Secret almost every single fight going in.
He just turns around and beats down Puppey pretty easily.
That's a pretty huge kill.
Thought that Boxy was out of completely out of his element there, but rather he did have Insania close enough to be able to turn around and get the kill. It's pretty decent. I think that's part of the reason the Shadow Blade, right?
Yeah.
He wants to be able to hunt down Puppey in these team fights.
You have to get the back line. Otherwise, everyone else just gets saved, and the Bristleback's way too tanky to focus him with his supports behind. And we see the Pangolier going for a Blink Dagger, which I really like a lot. It's hard for him to enter the fight in any way other than rolling, right?
Yeah.
If you go in, there's silences, there's the Grimstroke leash, there's the Slark leash, there's 2 stuns, one of which is instant on the side of the Rubik. And now he can easily disrupt the fight even more so for the Slark by hitting him every single time with that Rolling Thunder and helping his team disengage if absolutely need be when the DP ultimates.
I think it's always really nice to have a clear frontlining stun for Morphling so he can play the team fights greedier on his agility morph. You know, he could just go in with a lot less HP, but outputting a lot more damage, knowing that there's some heroes are stunned up.
Yeah, I think the crucial thing about this Blink Dagger is it's not an item you always buy on Pango, but every team comp needs a reliable way to start the fight. Earth Spirit's not a hero that wants to go first. You don't want to just lead off with Keeper of the Lights, Will-O-Wisp. So Pangolier, he's the only one left, right? And it's most beneficial to his teammates in terms of enabling their abilities, as well as, like you said, the Morphling, to output more damage by staying on agility much longer to go for this Blink. Seems like such a small decision, but this game would look so much weirder for Secret in team fights if these little item choices weren't the way they were.
It's about to get a whole lot better with level 15 coming up. A 50% increase in the Rolling Thunder
that 4
duration.
second is insane. It's basically just 12 seconds, right, of just running around in the fight of maybe you're not always hitting people, but you're a threat. They can't ever kill you because you're just magic immune, and every time they try to hit you, you get stunned. And it's just completely obnoxious to play against. And it's really nice when you have reliable damage dealers that aren't yourself as the Pangolier, because you know you don't have to do damage. You just have to be a complete nuisance.
Another smoke up around a timing, an Aghanim Scepter for Koifa. What they may not know, though,
the Radiance.
is fresh Radiance for the Bristleback, and that is a big pickup as well. Inkswell goes down, blink forward, stun onto Nisha, but he's already turned his back to the rest of the team, and Zai does manage to jump in. Shield crash stolen, no Rolling Thunder, and they should easily be able to lock down Centaur. A Soulbind going out, but I don't think Liquid can really turn on this so much. In fact, Nisha is daring them to do so. Double telekinesis toss back with the silence up there. They actually go from a ton, and he drops a little bit low, but he does manage to morph into strength in the last second. Koifa comes back in. The silence on him, but the morph strength was on for the Morphling, so he's going to be good. The Eul Scepter goes out onto Yapzor with a buyback coming in from Boxy. They will confidently take the fight now against Secret, but
they just always lose one support.
Good enough.
They just lose one support and back off. It seems like Liquid is doing their best to force these fights, and Secret just is so good at forcing you to react and then not giving you what you reacted for, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're here to help our team. We have all of these ultimates that we want to throw onto you, and then you use them, and we say, okay, 10 seconds or 30 seconds from now, we want to fight you again, and now you don't have all your ultimates.
Other teams would have been caught in that buyback.
Yeah,
they would
absolutely.
have thought, like, Nisha on the front lines, they're like, oh, this is great, they're going on Nisha. They would have funneled in. All of a sudden, Boxy comes back in with a big play. But Secret, very, very disciplined team.
It just feels like Liquid's like bumping their head against the wall. You know, there's like, let us through, damn it. As we see a second Roche. This is a cheese Roche. Liquid, though, they have no Stampede. They have no Death Prophet ult. Secret doesn't look to want to force it. They just want Liquid to feel like they have to fight them or contest them in some way. Liquid, this doesn't make them feel comfortable to be sitting here. In the meantime, Secret's just looming this threat over you. Where, as well, they're farming. They are putting the Slark bottom on Liquid, so they're not like being completely inefficient on the map. But nonetheless, it's all about knowing what your objective is for Secret and knowing if we're going to force an objective, this is what it's going to be. Let's play around it. We're going to smoke, potentially get a pick off that lets us get this Roche. As we see, Taiga does blink away. Nice play by him. Zai chases him. Doesn't get the swash, though.
Insania,
okay, well played by Liquid.
Yeah. That was clean. At the same time, Mick
they might just walk back into Roche, though.
Pushing out bottom, and he's probably going to be forced over, as you said. They're probably, as they push Liquid back, they come back to Roshan, and Liquid, they're going to be forced to quickly group up and run at the pit.
Really good D-ward coming out from Yapsor in the river there.
Take it, though? 15 seconds without Exorcism. And this Roshan is dying so fast with all that minus armor. It looks like they're just going to be a bit late.
Defensively,
Rolling Thunder
like
and Will-O-Wisp just to make sure there is no opportunities for initiation. They will manage to get the kill onto Puppey here, but that was a buyback earlier from Boxy. He's in trouble. Matumman's going to be chased down. There goes the Soulbind onto Zain Matu, but he does manage to morph strength once again. He's a tanky guy, and Koifa, he's in a bit of trouble. Triple Spirit Siphon into the Yule Scepter, heals him up, back up to full with an Inkswell on him. Almost gets the stun onto Nisha. Instead, it's Puppey who ends up dying. That's a dieback for him, but a roll in from Matumman. Operating onto Koifa. They should be able to get the Rolling Thunder. That's it. He's dead, and no Exorcism in this fight means that Liquid no longer have a whole lot of damage. It's all up to Mickey now. Dow put it by himself. He goes for side, but immediately gets Halberded up. Silence as well. Now he's gone. The carry and the mid from Liquid lose their lives in this fight, and Secret still walk away with Aegis, and I think they used the cheese on Nisha in that fight.
Hear me out, Cap. I think this Bristleback hero is pretty broken.
I'm
How do you deal with it? Like, we see in this Roche pit, not only is Secret forcing them to fight, but they just say, we dare you to come in. We're just going to throw all of our ultimates on the ground preemptively. We can still fight you afterwards anyway. And look how Slark, he's just in the middle of the fight. He's hitting, but does anybody really care that they're getting hit by this Slark? He can't hit them enough times to make them care until he gets multiple damage items. And we see Secret just in the base of Liquid, meanwhile.
Taiga and Insania.
Good luck killing
the support
Nisha
duo
here.
have been trying to push back and poke at Secret as many times as possible while their cores are still reviving. They're not going to blow buybacks on any of them. Without the Exorcism, it seems unlikely they could win a fight, but they are going to be receiving some serious damage to their base while they wait. One lane of barracks already dead and trying to protect a very low tier 3 Boxy. Not able to do enough, though.
Yeah, he still has Aegis on Matumma Man, so he's willing to play at pretty low health in order to do damage to the buildings. I feel like this Diffusal Blade by Slark is countered pretty hard by Keeper of the Light. Seeing Morphling so many times at low mana just
nice
get Chakra Magicked.
He does manage to do a decent amount of damage to the Bristleback, but he's going to be saved by the Will-O-Wisp as well as a Force Staff. Now they're Rolling Thunder, continuing to keep the stuns onto Mickey. He just can't get out. He immediately buys back. This is all in for Liquid. They have to be able to win this fight. They have to be able to catch Secret, and it has been a struggle to do so many times. They jump out, do manage to get Puppey once again, but this 5 position that they keep on getting, maybe sometimes they get yaps, or it's not worth it. It's not worth all that they've invested just to be able to hold on to the game. They needed more, but Secret will not give it to them.
I think I'm having deja vu. Liquid buys back a hero. One of the supports on Secret dies, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's always a good trade for Secret. Very good. And earlier on in the game, you said, you know, Secret, after all that's gone right for them, they're only up by 1K. I think their lineup was weaker early, and now I think I've seen about 15 to 16 things go right for them, and now they're up 17K.
Yeah.
It's just pretty crazy how it's just a bunch of little things over the course of this game where Liquid, a team of very good players, just seems like they're 1 or 2 steps behind at every stage in this game. I feel like I'm being biased towards Secret, but if I'm putting myself in Liquid's perspective this game, like, I want something, and they're just not giving it to me. I want to fight you. I want you to run into our DP ult. And Secret is doing a great job playing around. They are going to smoke up. They're ready to go. Both teams have all their abilities except for the Stampede. Looks like he's ready to break smoke, but I don't know if that was the intent of breaking the smoke here.
Turning into a Centaur.
This is not an ogre. This isn't like a 5-position ogre that's willing to tank the smoke for his team. You know, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, is he trying to tank it? Using the swash to cancel the blink immediately was a good, nice play by Zai.
Okay, Matama Man almost loses his Aegis here. In fact, he's going to turn and fight as he's willing to make that trade-off if they can actually kill Mickey, and they will manage to do so. He's dead. GG. No buyback there, and that's just going to be it. Liquid call it GG. They seem to be utterly neutered, completely powerless against Secret as the game goes on and on.
What a schooling.
Yeah.